Hello everyone, welcome to our special session of discussion, analysis and rating of public administration UPSC CSE Mains 2023. In this segment, in this session, I will be taking one question or two questions and discuss the question, nature of the question. I'll rate the questions. I'll discuss the tail word of the question, how to format the answer, and I will try to give you the model answers also. So first I am taking the question number 1A of paper 1 section A. Section A, paper 1 of public administration, question number 1A. Let's understand different dynamics of the question. So first of all read the question. What is the question? This question is the compulsory one. Compulsory means question number 1 and question number 5 are compulsory. All the A, B, C, D, E questions have to be answered. From 2, 3, 4 and 6, 7, 8 you can pick 1 or 2. So the question is, public administration horizons have been expanding to cater to the complex needs of the citizens in globalized era. Explain. Explain. It's a 150 words question, 10 marker. This question, if you see, this question is related to scope and significance of public administration, isn't it? It is very clear that the question is related to scope and significance. And the tail word is explain. I will talk about the tail word. What does it say? So question is scope and significance. The question says that scope of public administration has increased, or horizon of public administration increased. Scope of public administration increased. The significance of PA has increased in the background of globalization. So globalization has given certain challenges. Citizens' needs and aspirations have changed. In this background, the horizon of public administration expanded. So before discussing the answer, let us talk about the nature of the question. There are certain questions which have a unidimensional content. But there are certain questions in which you have multifaceted ideas to be covered. So this question, first of all, seems to be a generic one, because when we talk about the number 1 significance of public administration, it's a generic idea. Some people may write the answer from the perspective of discipline of public administration. Some may write the idea from the perspective of public administration in action. Some may write from the context of only government. Some may write in the context of governance. So generic one means it talks about the significance and scope. Open answer you can write, and globalization itself is a very broad topic, so you don't have to go for specific thinkers, specific content to prepare for this subject. So the first, it is a generic question, number 1. Number 2, it is multifaceted in nature. It is multifaceted. That means role and significance of public administration can be answered from various perspectives. That you can write its role in policy formulation. You can write it from the perspective of crisis management. You can write its role in concerning bringing socio-economic change in the life of the people. Or you can write its role concerning sustainable development. You can write the role of public administration by incorporating other institutional arrangements. So you have scope of picking things from various aspects of the scope of working of public administration. So we call it multifaceted. Okay. And third thing, this question is analytical question. it's an analytical question. Why it is having analysis? Because we have studied, you have also gone through that scope of public administration has decreased in the context of liberalization and globalization. That has been matter of debate among scholars in 1980s, 90s and the first decade of 21st century decade. This debate was very much common, that state is diminishing, talk of state minimalism, talk of hollow state. So in the talk of this hollow state, the statement is the scope of public administration increased in the globalized era. So you have to make analysis here, that scholars say something but we see something else happens. Public administration does not shrink, it does not diminish, its scope increased. So analysis has to be done. The question is analytical. Plus when you are writing this answer, you have to put some examples. So there is no scope of writing more examples, but at least one example you can pick. So to prove this idea, you have to pick example. So this question is also elucidative. Why? Why? Suppose question says examine. When it says examine, you can go against the statement. Statement is horizon is expanding to cater to the needs of complex needs of citizens. Then you can examine, say no, public administration scope has decreased because markets start playing more role, NGO starts playing very significant role. People's expectation from public administration decrease. If you are writing contrast to the statement, then it's okay. But when you are, you are writing what statement says, then it's okay. But when you are writing contrast also, then you have to pick to prove your answer. This question is related to explain. Explain means to make things clear. So this particular answer, you need to write one or two examples. It's demand of the question. So the nature of the question is elucidative. Okay. So it's a generic question, multifaceted contents are available. It's analytical one and you have to bring examples also. This is the nature of the question. Now, second thing that it's very common that it is from unit 1 and topic related to globalization, public administration in globalization especially, and scope of public administration, globalization, expanding scope, expanding PA. So unit 1, paper 1, unit 1, scope of public administration, globalization as a topic interrelated to that. So topic will be scope of public administration, subtopic will be the globalization and public administration. Tail word is explain. Different tail words have different approaches and formats to answer. Tail word is explain. Explain means to make things clear. To make things clear, something is uncovered, something is covered, you have to uncover it. Something is not clear, you have to make it clear. So explain means to make things clear, and to make things clear in the context of how. In the context of why. So question says that horizon of public administration expands in globalized era. How? Or question says the horizon of public administration expands in globalized era. Why? So when you are explaining, you are writing how this happens and why this happens, or either how this happens or why this happens. Means the scope of writing in context of explain is how this happens, why this happens. Got the point? You are not countering, you are not going against the statement. Yeah, you can write one or two statement which is against the statement. You can write 1-2 sentences which are saying something else what this statement says. But ultimately your answer should hover around how and why scope of public administration expanded in the context of globalization. Clear? So tail word is explain. Now I will read the question, but before that let's talk about what shall be the format of the answer. As this question statement is regarding scope of public administration, first paragraph should relate to a very significant statement concerning scope and significance of PA. And what we know that scope and significance of public administration has ever been expanding. So you have to write something which is crux about scope and significance of public administration. So first statement is that in the answer I have taken up, this I am showing you the model answer. I will share in the word format also with you in our Telegram channel. So scope of public administration is ever expanding, but the scope and significance of public administration has expanded tremendously with the rise of globalization. That we know scope of public administration is expanding ever, starting from the tribal state to administrative state to welfare state. And now we say there was a certain views that with the rise of regulatory state, independent regulation like role of TRI, IRDA, etc. In the regulatory state, the scope of public administration will diminish. Is a normal logic given scholars' view has been presented that globalization, liberalization, it will reduce the scope of public administration, it will increase the scope of market, it will increase the scope of other institutional arrangement. That was general view. But what we are writing at the very start, we have given the signal to the examiner that scope of public administration is ever expanding, but rise of globalization, it has expanded tremendously. And a very brief introduction that we have said that public administration scope is ever expanding. So PA has evolved in positive direction, means expanded way, since the emergence of state system. And from administrative state to welfare state, its changing profile seen rise of public administration's horizon. Means a generic statement you can write, you can skip this statement also. And then you have to write that what scholars say, generally what is the general view. But recent debate on the subject headed towards conclusion that the emergence of forces of liberalization and globalization would reduce the scope of public administration. This statement, this means scholars say that rise of liberalization, forces of globalization, scope of public administration will decrease. No? So marketization and globalization will lead towards hollow state. Hollow state is a state where state has just the peripheral role. The central role inside a hollow something, hollow pipes, etc. So hollow state is that state where greater role is played by other forces. The internal significant core function not performed by government, just peripheral function performed by government, hollow state. The idea of institutional pluralism prompted the philosophy of state minimalism. Is that we here, when writing this particular part, we inserted the theory coming from public choice theory. Public choice theory argue that institutional pluralism, that multiple institution, that is market. More and more players, that is market. This philosophy led towards state minimalism, state will reduce. So this is the argument which generally the scholars put forward. Some scholars are putting forward the idea that marketization, globalization, they are also interrelated phenomena. Some other answer, if I get the scope, I will make you clear. So marketization support globalization or led towards forces of globalization. Marketization plus globalization combined together shifted the power from government to other institutions, shifted the power from authority, from the role from public administration to private sector or non-state actors. Rise of hollow state, state is minimum, state will be minimum. This was general argument, this was general discussion. So we made it clear, but the recent debate on the subject headed towards conclusion, means they led towards some conclusion that public administration is reducing in scope, its horizon is decreasing. However, then we are coming to our argument. Now you see, will role of state decrease in the presence of market? Will role of public administration decrease in the presence of market? No, state's role will not decrease, public administration's role will not decrease. Its role and responsibility both will grow. For example, suppose market is performing the task of telecommunication. But can't we say telecommunication policy to be drafted by the government? Can't we say government should keep watch over the telephone companies that they don't undermine the interest of the common man, they don't exploit the customer? State's responsibility is not there concerning mediation of disputes among various multiple players. Market is trying to bully down the weak actors in the competition. Monopolistic tendency is emerging. Can't we say role of state is there? And ultimately, who is responsible towards society? Who is responsible towards citizen? It is the government. So state or public administration is like parents and the citizens are like children. Public administration cannot renounce their responsibility towards citizens, cannot renounce their role towards citizens. Even if there will be market, their role will be there. But we are not writing this particular dimension here, we are writing just the crux of this dimension. That we have PSUs today, PSUs are performing those roles which market is doing. Now new role added to government, that government has to make mediation, government has to put a check upon independent functioning of the market through regulation, or state has to take care of that market does not become one-sided, lopsided, anti-development, anti-poor. It should work through inclusive growth and development. New responsibility added, new role added. Plus society is interacting, world community is interacting, then problems in India are global problems. So flap of a butterfly in Texas is bringing tornado in India, is possible. It's happening in what is one terrorist attack in America and the regime change in Afghanistan, in Iraq. So global world, globalized world means there is a huge interaction among people. It's a global village. And there who will play its role? Public administration has to play its role. That part I have tried to, in the answer you have to write this part. So next part of the answer, however, the rise of forces of globalization has added more roles. No? Independent regulation is more role. Now tackling the international global issues is new role. More roles and responsibilities to the state or public administration. This globalization, forces of globalization has added more roles. With the world converging as global village, the needs and aspirations of the people have become more complex and innumerable. Means global village, people are interacting with one another. The life of people, needs of people, aspirations of people becomes more complex and innumerable. You can't count the numbers. So some of these, then what are these problems which makes role of public administration important, which helps in expanding the horizon? So you can give examples. Some of these problems which make PA indispensable are, and these problems like you can highlight, and whenever you are highlighting any global issue, the relevant dimension of the issue you should write. Like here written, global competition prompting extinction of domestic production. Why India forming BRICS and fighting in WTO? Why India wants that African countries should become part of G20? This was initiated very recently. Because some of the giant economies are trying to suppress them. So global competition prompting extinction of domestic production. Giant economies overpowering and engulfing market of poor economies. Then public administration must become alert. India's public administration, South Africa's public administration, Bangladesh's public administration, they must become alert. This globalization has brought global competition. This provided opportunity to giant economies, and public administration has to play significant role, their horizon expand. So this example, technology creating unbridgeable divides between haves and have-nots. Now it is the responsibility of the governments to bring green technology, to work upon development of artificial intelligence. Then depleting natural resources posing challenge to sustainable goals. Why globalization has also led towards indiscriminate usage of the local resources. American companies are entering into African nations, started entering early also, entering into African nations using the raw materials, mineral products, and making production, manufacturing in their own interest. Their Appalachian coal fields are not used today, they will use it after 200 years. So this depleting natural resources posing challenge to sustainable goals. Even in general, sustainable goals achievement require the conservation of natural resources. For this, the public administration must be alert. AI and digital revolution degrading the socio-cultural life of people. There are good aspects of AI, the positive dimensions of the technological revolution, digital revolution, but it is affecting the socio-cultural life. Public administration must intervene. And then dangers of weapons of mass destruction, new health and biological hazards or threats like COVID-19, Nipah, Ebola, or terrorism as a serious threat. These are the issues. No, this prompt public administration's role to be more important. And there are so many issues where public administration's role is there, but globalization has created these opportunities. Because of globalization, how scope of public administration expanding, you have to write this only. Scope of public administration is expanding because of multiple reasons, but globalization is one of them. So how globalization is expanding that role? These are the examples where public administration's role is important, and where towards whom citizens should see. Who will solve these problems? Can we expect market to solve these problems? Can we expect the NGOs to solve these problems? And where citizens would see. So these issues equally relevant to public administration of almost all countries of the world, and no market can afford to bring solution to these issues. Market can't bring this. This we are explaining how it is happening. Why public administration's role expanding? So market cannot afford to bring solution. Even citizens are looking towards public administration with much expectation for these solutions. Even citizens look towards public administration, that public administration will do that. Because market is not accountable towards them. People elect the government, they form public administration, so they have expectation from them. Got the point? And then PA is grown in scope and significance in this background of globalization. In this background of globalization of issues. Means issues are globalized, so scope and significance of public administration has grown. Okay. Now we add up. Because of this particular scope significance increasing, there are certain academic changes also, conceptual changes also. So what are the concept based changes, what are the academic changes which suggest the role of public administration, significance of public administration changed in globalized era? This you have to corroborate. Means in answer you should write something concerning academic discipline, some theories and concepts. So one statement, one paragraph I have taken. Public administration has also entered into dynamic area of collaborative governance. To tackle the complex problems discussed above, governments of the world were seen to be very much proactive during recent pandemic. Means one example also given, that how pandemic COVID-19 came and governments of the world became alert, aware, and they started collaborating. So collaborative governance emerged in this background. And this global issue pandemic made public administration very proactive. Academically, what happened? Collaborative governance concept, which is required in the background of globalization, within the background of the complex issues, etc. The scholars redefined public administration. In Minobrook 3, they said what? Public administration is a socially embedded process of collective relationship, dialogues and actions to promote humans flourishing for all. What is philosophy of new public service? New public service talks about that we cannot rely on market. New public management cannot bring the solution. Globalization has brought multidimensional changes. There is a needs and aspirations of people have changed. Treating them as customer will not work. Concept of new public service, concept of public value. New public service given by Denhart and Denhart. Robert Denhart, Janet Denhart. Husband, wife. It's very popular question area topic. UPSC regularly asks question from new public service. So new public service by Denhart and Denhart. Mark Moore's public value concept. These concepts highlight the decreased role of market. They reject the philosophy of new public management, and they want more role of the public officials. Changed role of state. Changed role of state so that state can become relevant, state can remain relevant, and this changed role relate towards a new approach to governance, and this came in the background of globalization. So philosophy of new public service by Denhart and Denhart, as well as public value like concept, is enriching the discipline of PA to help prepare for facing the challenges brought by new and complex phenomena in the globalized era to fulfill people's needs and aspirations. Suppose you are writing an answer in paper 1, there will be certain questions, like I said, the nature of question is generic. Here some interlinkage is required, because in generic question, you know, globalization is a topic, liberalization is a topic. Question comes from PSU, or question comes from unit 1, or question comes from unit 5, that accountability and control, citizens charter, or right to information. And in this area, you are not bringing something substantial related to academic study of PA, then your answer will become general. So whenever the question is generic, you should keep in mind that relate the idea with academic content. Without giving reference to Denhart or public value concept or any other concept which relates to your answer will remain general answer, not an academic subject answer, not an answer of the optional paper. So question is generic, you have to be cautious. Question is multifaceted, it's advantage of this question. Why advantage? Because you have lots of content to write. When the questions are multifaceted, you should keep in mind that there must be coherence in the answer. Answer should be coherent. It's very important. There are unidimensional questions, only one topic from where question is being asked. You don't have to see other peripheral multidimensional contents. You don't have to see. In that case, you already remain within the scope of the question. But when the multifaceted questions are there, deviations are possible. So here you should take care for coherence. Coherence must be established. Answer is analytical. Some answers can be based on more and more information. Analysis is less. So informative questions like significance of Niti Aayog is asked, for example. So it is more and more informative. Discussing some principles. So discussion of the principle made, general principle made, more and more informative. Or you are writing any answer which you have to give more and more available resources is informative. Analysis is 20%, information 80%, analysis 30%, information 70%, informative question. But 70-75% analysis, 20-25% information, it is analytical question. And when you have to put your ideas by weighing it and giving a particular logical direction to it, analytical, it is advantageous. It helps you writing a quality answer. Analysis in the question, marking will be improving. And then comes the fourth part, elucidate. Elucidate means to give support with the help of examples. So we have two examples in the answer which support our view. So we are explaining that horizon of public administration increased, explaining this in the globalized era. And to make this clear, we have picked some of the problems. These are the problems. These problems we highlighted, they itself are the examples of expanded horizons of public administration. Plus, specifically we have written here that governments of the world were seen to be very much proactive during recent pandemic. It's the example that the global issues like health issues or terrorism related issues, how governments have been proactive. You can't explain much, but you have given one statement example. This example is an example to explain the issues, and this example, it helps consolidate your answer. In the generic questions or specifically when the elucidation is asked, examples are asked, the nature of the question is elucidative. So you should bring the examples for that purpose. Examples can be direct examples, it can be hidden in the paragraph, in the logics also. So here we had one hidden example, problems we highlighted, which expands horizon, and second direct one statement to say public administration has expanded in scope. Clear? So nature of the question is this, our format. First we talked about scope of public administration in globalization. Scope of public administration ever expanding from administrative state to welfare state. But some scholars say no, it's not increasing in marketization, in globalization, it will shrink. We quoted their public choice theories word, institutional pluralism, state minimalism. It's coming through PCT. And then we given our argument, no, that public choice theory or other approaches are wrong. So in this background, how scope, role of public administration becomes more clear. Now time has come to rate the question. So rating is very important. How I have made this rating? This particular question, I have given it as an expert, I am giving it 3.5 marks. This chart shows you, it's a column shows you question from easy, average, difficult, very difficult, challenging. So marks 1 to 2.5 it is easy, from here it is average, up to 7 it is difficult, then very difficult, challenging. It's a rough, no, it's to make a generic understanding of the question. It's a rough sketch has been drawn. Now these marks are based on the averaging of these 4 components. So in first question I am dealing, so I will explain you that first when you are, one question is there, the statement's quality is very important, which decides the difficulty of the question. So difficulty level 1 to 10, 10 is the most difficult, 1 is the easiest. Statement quality is very important. Some statements are there very confusing. Like in same year question, we have a Widner's idea of development. So I will deal that question. Widner's idea of development question statement is very complex, difficult. I will explain you. And you will find that this question, Widner's question of development, you will not find, either you study T.N. Chaturveji's CPA, R.K. Arora's comparative public administration, or Raj Narayan's work on this subject. I have studied 2 theses also on that paper. And any other general book, you will find Widner defined development administration is action-oriented, goal-oriented administrative system, or political, economic, social changes. Like no statement of Widner and that statement you can find. Even in research paper, the statement from Widner in development administration, matching is not there. So that question is very difficult question. I will discuss. So question statements are very important. Statement quality is important. Some questions quality are what? They are open and clear. Open and clear means statement itself is the answer. President of India is a rubber stamp, or planning commission or Niti Aayog is a super cabinet. Don't have to make clear, it's a open and clear. Some questions are meaningful. Meaningful means like this question is meaningful question. That in the context of thinking, there is a thinking what? In globalized era, public administration scope has decreased. The statement says, explain how scope horizon of public administration expanded. Meaningful question. Some questions have deep meaning. So easily you cannot retrieve the meaning. You cannot uncover the meaning. Easily you can't uncover. Like if you look at the question concerning Mary Parker Follett, this year's question. That the question talks about how integration can be brought with the behavioral changes. So the instinct of cooperation should come, harmonious interrelation should come. They should set the philosophy of domination. People have generally lust for domination. Mary Parker Follett's question I will deal, they have deep meaning. And some questions are scholarly in nature. So scholars, those who are conducting research, their research statements have been given here. So statement quality, open and clear, easy. Meaningful, average. Deep meaning, difficult. Scholarly, very difficult. Similarly, syllabus reference. So syllabus reference means you find in the syllabus mentions about it. So there are core area mentioned in the syllabus, but some of topics are very common. Like if I say Taylor's scientific management, very common. But Taylor's management by exception is not core area, is the periphery. Is there in the syllabus, but not so, it's not covered as a general topic. So very common topic, easy. Core area, average. Periphery means outer part of the syllabus, touching something difficult. Out of the syllabus, very difficult. And then content availability. No, there are some topics are there for which you have lots of content available. Like for this question, you have lots of content available. Any book you will find the globalization in public administration, globalization in public administration. So contents are available or not? Most of the books it is available, easy. Limited books, average. Only in references, difficult. And only research paper, it is very difficult. Then comes skill required. Answer writing requires different type of skills. Every question do not assess same type of skill of the candidate. Different questions assess different type of skills. So if you have to bring some information and write there, something is written as it is, you have to write there. It is skill required what? Information duplication. You study some content, you duplicate there. Second higher level skill is comparative skill. You can make comparative relationship. So you can make comparison, like you are comparing Taylor and Fayol. So you have a skill of comparing. Taylor says X, Fayol says Y. Or classical thinker says something, behavioral thinker says something opposite. You can compare. Comparative skill. Analytical skill beyond this means you are analyzing Taylor, you are analyzing the critique of the Taylor, and you are giving your view about the Taylor and the critic both. Analytical skill. Your analysis, not the analysis of the scholar. And then fourth is innovative, means you are from that you create your own theory, your own approaches, your own innovative ideas. So skills vary: information duplication, comparative, analytical, innovative. This is easy, comparative is average, analytical is difficult, and innovative is very difficult. So when skill required is what in the question, based on these four the points given to them, then average is taken. Based on this average, the level of difficulty is decided. For this question, I am giving the difficulty level 3.5. That means the question is an average question. But you have to keep in mind, when we talk about the marking pattern, you always keep in mind that difficult questions are there, marking will be liberal. Very easy questions are there, marking will be tough. And somehow average, marking also will be average. So marking will vary. There will be average marking. And marks will vary from 4 to 6. Some people who are writing very good, coherence, etc., they can fetch 7 marks. Exceptionally 7 marks a candidate can get. But most of these students will write the answer, and generally people will get 4 marks, 4.5 marks. Good writing will get 6 marks, up to 6 marks. Exceptionally a person can fetch 7 marks. This one question I am talking about, this one question is not sufficient to rate whole of the paper. Once I will finish the discussion of all the questions, the rating of the overall paper will be possible. So I hope you like the way I have presented. If you have any suggestions to make, some inputs to bring in the discussion, analysis and rating, you can give me. So do not forget to watch this question completely, and definitely watch the series of the answers discussion. The model papers of the answer, model answer will be given to you in the text form in the Telegram channel very soon. Thank you very much for watching question number 1A of this session. See you in the next one. Thank you very much.